And Herbster.
Rhonda Boyle.
It is about that time, girl. You got your hair did, you got your lipstick on, and we're going to be talking about one of the most difficult topics for coaches today.
Absolutely one of the most challenging. And I think everyone struggles with this.
I agree.
Everyone. Yes.
I absolutely agree. So let me see here.
Hey, one of our friends just found their way here. I'm so glad. Welcome. Welcome.
Yay. All right, let me
turn the music off.
Yes. And put our faces on. Boom.
Yay.
There we go. So you know what? You can teach an old dog new tricks. We're just a little slower with the technology on here,
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, welcome everybody. I'm Rhonda Boyle and here with Ann Herbster, and we are the co-authors of the Coach Business Guide. There you go. The path to launch and grow your coaching practice. Come on in. We're excited that you're here today. We wrote this book to help people like you, new or newer coaches, jumpstart your coaching practice and help you on your journey towards having a thriving coaching business. So in the book, there's a lot of information provided, as well as 53 exercises that walk you through step by step, getting your foundations in order, filling those gaps. And what we've discovered, Ann, after working with hundreds of coaches, is they know how to coach. It's intuitive, it's in their bones, but they really struggle in being profitable.
That's right. And that's why today's topic is so important. And it's challenging for a lot of different people. So we're going to get started today on helping you identify some significant things you need to know about pricing. So we're going to focus on pricing your package and planning your income. And that's what you're going to charge your clients. So pricing, for many, it's a nasty word. It's a dirty word. It's something people just like, I'll get to it. Let me push it off to the side. And it is the hardest part, I think, for many of their business. And we struggle with ourselves. You know, it's like, oh my God, if I charge too much, nobody's going to come. But but reality is people expect you to charge. And free is not as valuable as when people pay.
Right.
And this doesn't include your discovery call, which you consider part of your package. But, I got to share with you, I used to do a lot of events, a lot of workshops. And when we would charge free, we would have a high percentage of no-show, sometimes over 50%. But when we charged, it was perceived as more valuable.
Right.
So, and it wasn't the cheapness of it. It's putting that right price so that people say, that's valuable. I want that.
Well, they make a commitment. Is what happens.
Absolutely. So you need to think about this as well for your coaching packages. So Rhonda, let's talk about money mindset, because this is something that we've got to get people to overcome.
Well, and it's where it starts. Like all of it starts in your head, and you will only charge for your services what you believe in your mind you are worth. Write that down. I'm going to say it again. You will only charge for your services what you believe in your mind you are worth. And most coaches are guilty of undervaluing themselves, especially women, right? And we tend to undercharge. And oftentimes this comes from how you grew up. It comes from your relationship with money, actually. So it comes from how you were raised around money. And then your partner, if you've had any kind of relationship for a length of time, you have a partner that comes in and also brings in their own money mindset that adds to your mix. And so it becomes just this swirl of, or it can, this swirl of like ick, you know what I mean? That coaches experience. So we really want you to understand that you're providing a valuable service and you need to be paid.
Yeah.
And we've written about the background, the where you come from and your partnerships and so forth, and how you came about your money mindset. We have a blog post on our website, and if you can
I
pop
just
that
did.
into the chat box, great. And so one of the things that coaches are really guilty of is spiritualizing money.
Yeah.
They feel bad for not earning money. And then, at the end of the month, when the bills come due, they're frustrated because they didn't have any money to pay for what they did. And this is why packaging your services is so important, because,
Yeah.
and that, we talked about that in another video you want to check on our website for. So understanding your challenges around money is probably one of the most important things that you can do. And that's really understanding your money mindset. And some of you need massive coaching around this. You just really do. And so really pay attention to that and work with someone if you have an issue. Okay?
Yeah. And the first thing is, how do you set your price? What do I charge? It is one of the most common questions we've heard. And, in talking with a lot of coaches, the key here is price it right the first time. Yes. Don't go in low and say, oh, I'll raise it. That's not going to work. Price it right, set an expectation that there's a cost. It's not free, and convey that this is valuable. So one of the first things to do, understand your competition. Who are they and what coaches are charging in your area? And you can do that by talking to other coaches. You can do that by going online. A lot of coaches have websites or have landing pages, just simple landing pages that have their prices. So the other thing you need to do, and this is important for you, understand and capture your costs. What is it costing you to produce a workshop? What are the associated costs with that? What is the cost for a one-to-one coaching package? It's not just your rate and what you're making per hour, let's say for an hour coaching session, but it's all other expenses associated with materials. What are your current expenses for your phone, internet, your video platform? What other items do you have? Material costs, supplies, assessments. Let's say you've got an assessment and you've got to pay for that. You got to integrate that into your costs so you are fully getting recovered what you are paying out. Let's say you're doing a workshop. What are your rental rooms? Your facility cost? There's always a cost. Sometimes it's hidden. Nothing is ever free, guys.
Right.
You got to be able to understand what's my cost. Technology, your travel time. If you're traveling to a workshop, you've got to recover that cost.
Yeah. You do. And this can be this is part of the grinding work that you've got to do. I hate to say it. This is just not the fun stuff. But if you do it once, then it becomes easier. And so really understanding this, though, is important so that you can earn a profit, right?
Yeah.
And what we want you to do is set a price that generates an income for you, because you don't want to start low and then plan on raising your rates. It doesn't work out. You lose people that way, right?
Yeah.
Now, you can offer a special promotion. So you set your price and then you're like, hey, this is a special introductory rate. In fact, we do that. And you want to do that, but you want to let your clients know what your regular rates are so that they feel the value of what they're getting now in advance, wow, I'm getting a deal by taking advantage of this introductory price. But they also understand clearly that you're going to go up, like your normal rate is this. And again, we are not talking about your discovery call. And, some of us have issues around that where we give way too much in a discovery call. Yeah, we know about that.
But Rhonda, the whole idea is with this special introductory rate is you want to be able to show the value of what they're getting. Yes. And that comes out in your price, and then say, but I'm offering this. But don't make that a regular thing, because then people realize that. So capture all those costs, understand what they are, make sure that you are integrating them into the price. So let's switch gears a little bit. let's talk about planning your income. Rhonda, you want to share the slide that
I
we've got?
do. Here we go.
Okay.
This is right from the book, y'all.
Yeah,
So
it's right from the book, and it's a way for you. It's just one way for you to come up with determine your income.
yeah,
And there's a lot here, and we're going to walk through it. But once you do this, you can determine how many of each workshops or packages you need to sell. And yes, we know that's an ugly word for many of us, but you have to get out there. You've got to reach out to your ideal client. You've got to be able to sell your services. And if you do that, then you can help achieve your income goals. So it's time we're going to get those numbers on paper. We're going to show you how to go through this and how you can play with, how you can manage different things. So Rhonda, do you want to start?
you bet. You bet. So that the first question you have to ask is, how much money do you want to make? Like in this example, we put $50,000. You can put whatever, plug in, and we do have a blank one in the book.
Yeah.
And you just want to plug in. We felt like having numbers here would be more helpful than blank. But you just plug in your annual revenue, what you want to earn. And if you're with us now, just jot that down. You can walk through this, jot it down in your journal right now. How much money do you want to make?
Yeah.
And be honest about what you want and need, because some of you are replacing a job and you need this. Some of you are just supplementing your income. You know, it's a part-time thing for you. So that's the first thing that you need to determine. And then you're going to need to decide how much time you have available, right? How many hours a week can you honestly work or devote to your coaching practice? And then what do you do with those hours? You know, you're either doing a workshops during those hours, or you're doing one-on-one coaching packages. Remember, you can't just coach. You have to have time to invest in your practice for networking, marketing, and dare we say that ugly word, selling. You have to sell yourself. You know, you really do. So, and, you know, share yourself. We can use whatever word you want to dress that up. But once you know how many workshops or coaching packages that you can do and how much you'll charge for them, then you're going to be able to calculate what kind of annual revenue you can produce with that.
Right. So let's look at this example. So write down how many workshops a year that you can do and in our example, we use 6 workshops a year, but how many workshops can you do? And be realistic about this. It's probably not going to be 24 workshops a year or two a month, but maybe it's every other month, or it's once a year. But write down how much you're going to charge. So we used $4,000 for a workshop. This is going to vary depending on number of participants, your cost, etc. But in this case, 6 times 24 is 24,000. And we're saying if you do 6 workshops a year at 4,000 each, your income for your workshops is 24,000. Now,
pretty simple.
Very simple, except you've got to remember that you got to sell these workshops to make this kind of money.
Right. And off your workshops, right?
You've got to be able to have time to go out there and market to your ideal client in this case. But if this isn't your focus, don't worry. You can make up the difference in coaching sessions. If you just want to be a trainer, then you need to change these numbers to see what you have to do to make your goal.
Yeah. If you're a trainer, like you would want to bump that number way up for your workshops, right?
Right, Rhonda, but be realistic, because how many really can you do? What's a realistic number?
Right.
So then the next section is, how many coaching packages will you do? Now, we talked about a package. A package is not a one-off coaching session.
Right.
Ideally, you've gone and sold a 6-session package, let's say. So in our example, we said you're going to sell 19 coaching packages, and that there are 6 one-hour sessions in each package. So this means you have available 114 hours. So think about that. How are you going to spread those 114 hours during the year? This is really important. But we're saying you're going to charge $899 for that package, and that would generate $17,000 in total revenue. Now, if you think you like this number, You say, I'm going to sell more of these. Great. Just remember, you have to have time to sell the packages,
Right.
referrals. You've got to get testimonials. You got to get out there in front
You
of your
got to be networking.
Absolutely. You've got to do that. But as you're developing what you have your annual income goal, in our case, we said 50,000. This is one way of how you're going to hit that 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the workshops. We've talked about coaching packages. The reality, you're going to do some individual coaching sessions. You may have somebody who just wants 2 sessions to work on a specific item on their resume, or they want to practice interviewing. You're going
to maybe you're going to do a debriefing on an assessment. That's how I would do a one-on-one
exactly.
assessment.
That's a great thing. And maybe you'll say that's 2 sessions, but you want to be able to sell some individual coaching sessions, and they're not going to be part of your packages. In our case, we used 82 1-hour sessions at $150 an hour, which would give you $12,240. Now, you can play with this. You sell more packages, you're going to make a little more money, then you can do less one-on-one sessions. Mm-hmm. But you've got to have the hours available to be able to, that's almost, when you look at those numbers, that's almost 200 hours.
I know. I was getting my calculator out going, how many hours now do I have to work?
Yes. Right? Yes.
And how many hours are there in a year?
And how many hours in a week are you going to be available?
Yeah.
So it's 196 sessions. So if we look at that, that says for the year, on average, 4 coaching sessions a week. And as you play with this and you change the numbers, you lower the numbers.
4 a week doesn't sound like a lot.
It doesn't, but
you have to consider that you have to have double those hours to keep pursuing the next client, because here's something we see coaches do all the time: feast or famine. Mm-hmm. Like they get a gig and they're all geared up for it and working towards it and everything, and they drop the ball on all of their networking, their referrals, their working, the rest, their marketing. They drop all of that. And then they come out of that gig, whatever it is, they come out of it and they're like, oh, I have to start over.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
And a lot of times as we're starting out, we'll say, oh, I'll charge $50 an hour. You could say you're going to do that, but look how many more coaching sessions you're going to have to do to hit your desired, or it could be a required income. You need to supplement your income, and you want to do it as a coach. So pricing it right, especially for your ideal client. And maybe you find that it's not the one-on-one. I need to go with some group coaching. And there could be a package for that as well that you charge each member of that group. But this is an opportunity for you to look at how much revenue you can generate. And then, but don't get dismayed, but it's a way for you to think about how you want to price and what you want to charge. But that's not your total income. This is just what your revenue, how much your coaching is going to bring in. Rhonda, let's talk about expenses.
Yeah, because we talked earlier, you've got to consider your expenses when you're calculating your annual income. Yeah. Now, in the example we used, we assumed that the coach was online Zoom services. They would go out for a workshop periodically, and we just started with expenses of $32.40. Yours could be higher or lower. It just depends on, your focus, your ideal client, where you live, and so forth. And remember that there is a cost per package, and you've got to determine what that is to ensure that you're going to make money. So starting out, you can keep this low and you can add on items as you grow your business. And you don't really have to have an office to get started, because virtual is here to stay. Don't you think, Ann?
Yeah. And you just need a space, a private space where you can go, where you're not going to have interruptions, where your kids aren't going to be banging on the door to come in, but where you can have that private conversation, because there is that expectation in virtual that it's private, that nobody else is going to hear what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So we've talked about revenue. We've talked about expenses. You can look at your overall profit. And by deducting you take your total income that you're going to get from your workshops and or your one-on-one packages and your individual sessions. And that says how much money you can make. And you adjust these numbers. But you have to be realistic. Don't go in and say, I'm going to charge $200 an hour, and you find that your audience can only afford $100 or $150. You got to find a way then to get that revenue up. And it could mean that you do small groups, as I said earlier, as a way to generate more revenue at the same time. So it's not, we know this isn't easy. And we know that
some of y'all are breaking out in a hive. We can
I know
see it.
You are, Rhonda.
This is hard for many of us, because you know why? We keep talking about it. What coaches do best is coach.
Absolutely.
Not deal with all this.
We know that. And this is where your support mechanisms can come in, your individuals that help you, that you can talk about what you want to charge. It'll help boost your confidence. Yes. It'll help you feel really good about that. Yeah. So, Rhonda, what's our final thought on things that they always forget?
Well, you guys always forget, and we do too sometimes, that we about probably easily 50% of your time needs to be invested in growing your business, growing your practice. You need that time to sell, and we know you hate that word, but to network and to market. And we know this is not so easy for you to do. Yeah. So being able to really manage your time well is what you're going to have to do. Yeah. So we hope that this has been helpful and has provided really good food for thought around what you want to price, how you want to price your services in order to achieve your desired income. And what we know is the world needs more coaches, and coaches need to make money.
So Rhonda, what's next?
And we are so excited to let everybody know about the next dates of the Launch and Grow Success Program. We're going to get started our next cohort on October 27th, Thursday nights, for an hour and a half every week. And Ann, let's tell everybody what it entails.
Right. So our Launch and Grow Success Program is normally valued at $5,499 because there's so much that's included, starting with a copy of our print book that we'll mail to you. Now, that's an autographed copy of our book from both of us. We then have created an exercise workbook where we've taken the 53 exercises from the workbook, put it into a document that you can either fill in online or print off, and you can use this over and over again. But we know you sometimes get stuck. So we've created 39 training videos to go with these exercises, so that if you're stuck on a specific one, you can go to that. It's over 9 hours of video help just for you. And so Rhonda, let's talk about the live coaching that's going to go on for 6 weeks.
Yeah. So like I said before, it's 90 minutes every week of group coaching. So we'll be together and you'll be in a cohort. Even though we will keep you moving with individualized help, we believe in the value of peer coaching, because you're going to learn so much from other people in the group. Our current cohort is doing amazing things together right now, aren't they, Ann?
Absolutely. They're getting some new ideas. They're actually getting ideas from the team as well as from us. And they're creating some new programs specifically for their ideal client.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So you too will have that opportunity, and you get to fill in your gaps, think through your processes, make sure you have all of the foundational pieces of your business in place, and you get the accountability to get the work done with it, because you also get access to us if you get stuck and can't figure it out.
Right. And that does happen. We know that. So we only have room for 6. And this training is for you if you are highly motivated and you're looking to launch your coaching practice now. We keep it small so that we can give you the time that you need. So if you're ready to engage with the material and you're ready to put in the work, take advantage of this now. It's normally priced $7.99, but we have
wait.
yes, we have a special price of $2.99 just for this specific training program.
Wow. So take advantage of this next cohort. If this training is for you, we would love to work with you. So grab your seat now. Join the next one. It starts October 27th. Thursday nights. We get started at 7:30 Eastern or 6:30 Central. And the link to register is right there on the screen, coachbusinessguide.com/products. So we sure hope to see you there. We're in the business of launching and growing coaches, and
absolutely.
Yeah, so we hope to get started and have you join us. So thanks for joining us, everyone.
See you soon.